How Long Gone is here, Coachella edition. We're just a couple days away from Coachella. Chris, how are you feeling?
I mean, I'm not ready yet. I've been reading a lot of trend pieces about how the kind of classic Coachella boho look is making its triumphant return to Indio this year. I haven't had time to kind of hit intermix for all my necessities.
It's pronounced intermix.
Oh, I apologize. But I'm kind of behind the dial right now on Coachella season. But luckily for both of us, we aren't going.
I feel like I was doing decks like 3 months ago, and you're just now going on Intramix, even with overnight shipping. I don't know, Chris.
I'm stressed out, okay, and I don't know what to do. I can't buy some like cheap rayon, from Urban Outfitters to accomplish the boho look. If I want to get Sienna Miller at Glasto ready, it's going to cost me. And if overnight shipping is part of that, then that's a pill I'm going to have to swallow.
Did you think you were ever going to live long enough for this twisted little look to come back in vogue?
I mean, it's one of the worst looks we've ever been through as a society. We talk about kind of the indie sleaze look being bad, which it still takes the cake, of course. But I would believe a close second is Coachella boho chic. And obviously Sienna and Alexa in their prime, in the streets of Marylebone, it's a very different proposition.
If we keep talking about Coachella, but you keep bringing up London and Marylebone and
because
all these British festivals. I'm talking about Coachella, bitch.
No, I know what you're talking about, Cali TJ, but what I'm saying to you is that look was bastardized by California trash and unfortunately ruined. Is my point. That's my whole point.
Maybe, Chris, this sounds like a good Substack for you. There's a lot of fat to chew on here.
Unfortunately, once Elon banned Substack links from Twitter, I divested from that platform as a Twitter first guy.
Dump it. I want it all out.
I want it all. I called my broker and said, dump it. But TJ, you're in the desert now. You're kind of doing a Coachella pre-party. If I'm not mistaken.
I'm pre-gaming a little bit. I wanted to get out here and just with my sickness, I feel great, but with the nosebleed situation in the desert, it's dry out here. I don't know if a lot of people don't know that, but it is dry.
Okay.
And I just wanted, the same way that like a marathon runner will, show up in Boston maybe a couple weeks just to get used to the climate, altitude, stuff like that. I'm kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm glad to see you kind of acclimating to the climate, getting a base tan, kind of swishing Tito's around in your mouth like it's fucking mouthwash to kind of get the body ready. But unfortunately, neither of us are going to Coachella this year unless something has changed on your side.
No.
Okay, but I will be. I am going to I'm going to see Depeche Mode at Madison Square Garden on Friday night with friend of the show David Coggins.
Pause.
I'm gonna be exactly. It's
a question of pause.
It's the gayest thing David's ever done, not the gayest thing I've ever done. So we will be
both of those things are false.
We will be in the village.
Okay, so you guys are gonna go. This is exciting. I'm stoked for you. I would love to see Depeche Mode.
My dog Dave Gahan and our friends over at Columbia were kind enough to bless me with the tickets after I built with Dave last year.
So you were able to DM Dave.
I was able to memento mori his ass, but he it's tough to eat dinner before MSG, Jason, and that's the real issue we're dealing with because it's
what?
Well, it's just there's nothing great close, you know what I mean? So it's like you kind of have to plan accordingly. Depeche Mode's on at 8:45. We want to check out the new Hotel Chelsea. So we're dealing with some stuff over here as well. But I just want you to know I'm seeing live music this weekend in the spirit of Coachella with all of the other aging goths of the tri-state area.
So if I was wondering, like, could this get any gayer? But then you found a way. We need to figure out a way to go visit the Hotel Chelsea before the first band goes on.
Well, not
I'm
before
sorry, honey.
Not before the first band goes on. Just before
to admire the architecture of the Hotel Chelsea. Or what's going on?
We're gonna dine there. It's a popular destination for dining. And we're both interested in a new hotspot. David's not, he's not above that or oblivious to.
Yeah, you want to kick the tires on a local brasserie.
Yeah, we got to try the local.
What's it smell like, bitch? What's it smell like?
Somebody was posting the $18 French fry side, so you already know this place is right up my fucking alley.
French fry. Okay.
I don't believe those include any accoutrement or
they better
toppings.
Dip themselves in ketchup for crying out loud.
These these things better come with homemade mayo and a dipping arm.
At the very least. Smoked uni aioli, I hope.
But there's a lot
gold leaf.
There's a lot going on the internet today.
Cancel our guest. There's too much.
I read a nice story with friend of the show Marshall Vore from Nylon. I'd love for you guys to go check that out. But the real issue going on.
We love Marshall, but I need something juicier.
Don't worry. Marshall doesn't give too much juice, except that he listens to Morgan Wallen and the Tesla.
Who doesn't?
The juice here is that there's a internet personality. Lee from America is her former nom de plume, and she has left the influencing world for a regular job, and now she is charging influencers a $40 fee to learn from her how to stop influencing. This is real.
This is reverse Tony Robbins. And also I know Lee personally, just for the record.
Okay, congratulations. So she lost.
Okay.
She's
Chris is pissed. I like it.
No, I'm just kidding. She was making close to $300K from being an influencer, and now she's like a social media person at a tech startup, unnamed. They're going out of business, I'm sure. And this got some pretty dedicated ink in the New York Times style section.
Style section. Chris, you're the cuntiest cunt who ever cunted.
I just want to say on the record, this is absolutely insane. Like, it's absolutely insane. This is not interesting. It's not important. It's more meaningless than an article about podcasters. Like, I didn't think it was possible for them to go lower than podcasting, but they found a way.
I think it's much more meaningful than an article about podcasters, because I've never heard a 5-year-old kid say, "Mommy, I want to grow up and be a podcaster." Every single child, teen, the ultimate goal is no longer to be a rock star or a musician or an athlete. It's to be an influencer.
Yes, of course. But the fact that they're framing this as like, I just don't. This is she's switching one scam for another. Like the scam of posting acai bowls with edible flowers is not that different than the scam of selling people a $40 seminar on how to stop posting acai bowls with edible flowers. Like, it's not. It's
okay. So this
two
is
sides of the same coin.
Okay, I'm starting to see the semblance of your gripe emerging from the rubble. It's a little bit of Sackler family-esque. They sell us the disease, so to sell us the cure kind of thing.
Exactly, Jason. Thank you for going Nan Golden mode on this podcast and figuring out what the problem is. Yeah, but people, I just think she, it's like she went into treatment for an eating disorder, obviously after she stopped influencing, which is difficult and like a real issue and a real problem. But like, I don't understand what that has to do with this. Like, is that caused by being an influencer because you talked about food? Like, I guess I just don't understand what the point is. Like, what is the point? Like, is the point for us to feel sorry for her? Is the point for us to like realize that being an influencer is bad, which we all have known since the beginning of time? Or what are we, what are we supposed to take from this?
I think it's raising awareness and giving a voice to the voiceless of people who feel as if they can never speak out about the negative sides of this publicly. Because it's like, it's like me complaining about being tall.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is...
it's just like, bro, nobody really... you got paid $300K to post an acai bowl? Yeah, great. Like, my fucking dad cleans wells and is, I unclog toilets for a living. Let me know when you want to talk about gripes.
Depending, Jason, if digestion is an issue for you, I'm sure Lee from America has something, kind of some ashwagandha or something.
She has a stunning turmeric tea, trust me.
The best quote is, when you're an influencer... then you have chains on, which is I mean, the lack of self-awareness, which obviously we all fall victim to this, and I am no different, but comparing being a well-paid influencer to being jailed is truly something that is kind of beyond my realm of comprehension. That's all.
Right.
That's all.
I'm assuming she's using chains in the Stevie Nicks tense, but
I don't think...
not an exploration of America's failing jail system. Please don't lock me up, honey. I guess to show you another side of the coin, a common reason when people ask us, "Hey, why don't you guys do Patreon? You guys would be making $300,000 a year easily. What's the deal?" And then our reply is always, "I don't want to be beholden to the fans, to brands, to this and that." And I think this is echoing a pretty similar
but we're not
cry, right?
Yeah, but we're not we're not trying to sell people a $40 seminar to sit on us with Zoom and be like, don't do it, bro. It sucks. Like, that's my issue. Like, obviously.
But if somebody were to ever host, some type of influencer Al-Anon or like how to break free from the chains, we would be definitely an amazing guest speaker on, how to detox from Patreon.
But we
hosted
wouldn't.
By How Long Gone.
We wouldn't, because we never did it, so we can't detox from it. We avoided it completely.
Yeah, we're what are they called? Golden virgins? What's it called? What do you call somebody who?
Gold Star. We're a Gold Star.
We're Gold Star podcasters. We've
never fucked Patreon. We've never been fucked by
Patreon. Little Patreon tongue up my wet little asshole.
I'd never let Patreon hit, bro. Hell no.
Like I said last episode, we are merely humans meant to be studied in the museums of the future, and this is another
you're right.
wing in our in our exhibition.
You're not wrong, and you make a good point. I guess though, I think that there's like this kind of, it feels like an underlying plea for sympathy that I feel like people get if they bring up the right buzzwords in situations like this, where it's like, so I'm supposed to feel sorry for you because you gave up money because you didn't like it anymore. And it's just like, that's kind of what we're actually talking about. Like, it's like you can say it was this, you can say it was that, the pressure, blah 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 blah. But it's like we have to be responsible as functioning adults for the decisions that we make. It's like we've all done things that were like, oh, that was stupid, I shouldn't have done that. I've done it obviously countless times in my life. Jason, I can think of 100 times you've done it.
Moving on, but
in our careers especially.
Yeah, for sure. To play devil's advocate, if you were to compare being an influencer of the highest degree, somebody who's paid money to post your body on Instagram.
She wasn't even doing, but she wasn't even doing that well. That's the other thing. It's like this isn't like she was top of the top. She was like a middle class like influencer, literally. I mean, honestly, and I think it was.
She did not have millions of followers, but she made a good living.
Totally.
But my point is, if you are an influencer, even if you're not one who's like an influencer who's just like a bikini model influencer or whatever, like if you are,
sure,
whatever it is that you're doing, you're still, it's still sort of, you're whoring yourself out for money.
Absolutely.
It's sex work light, but
again,
the difference is, I mean, and don't come for me with that statement, because obviously they're not the same in many ways, but with sex work, we have a blueprint. Like they say, prostitution is the oldest job in the history of mankind. Influencing is a job that nobody has any experience on, and I think that there will be a lot of people who are like, bro, I thought this was the way out, this was the golden ticket. And since there are no case studies on how to become how to successfully exit from your career as an influencer, we're still feeling around in the dark. We're still building the TikTok tracks while the train's moving.
Because it's not a real problem. Because it's not a real. That's why. It's because it's not
clearly,
a real.
If people are paying her $40 a month,
that's because
a problem.
No, it's not a problem. It's because people are stupid, and people think everything that happens to them is like the first time it's ever happened, and they, instead of using their own brains to figure out a way out, they're desperate enough to pay someone $40 for a guidebook that is unproven. That's the reality.
Yeah, I guess the issue. Sorry, go ahead.
Don't get scammed. We have a guest today.
Okay.
There's a great new record from a band called Wednesday. It's called Rat Saw God. I've been rinsing it for a while. And we had one of the band members, MJ Linderman, on the podcast a while ago to talk about his solo album. But today we're talking to Carly Hartzman.
Her BF, right?
Yeah, her BF. Today we're talking to North Carolina's own Carly Hartzman, who is the front woman and big boss of Wednesday. And this record is not only Pitchfork Best New Music, it's also earned the coveted Chris Black Best New Music. Which is, it's similar but different.
No boys allowed on that list.
No boys allowed. Let's go down to the swamp and then talk to Carly.
Wicked.
Carly, what's up?
I don't know. It's 3 p.m. That's like my worst time of day. So y'all gonna get it pretty raw from my end.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm pissed as hell. This sucks. I hate the afternoon. Ugh.
Listen. I am a nap taker. And 3 p.m. is the nap time. I also do the like psycho thing where sometimes I'll take a nap at like 7 to 10, which is number one, 3 hours is a long nap. And also that's like, but then you wake up and you have like another day to experience.
Damn, hustler mentality.
That's the one way to look at it. I didn't know you were going Rob Deerdeck mode, but welcome to the resistance.
I wake up at 10 p.m. I'm on day number 3, and now I'm kicking your butt.
What is your sleep schedule then? Because it sounds fucked up.
It depends, because when I'm home, it's different from tour. Sure. And it's kind of, my life is like half and half now. But at home, I wake up at like 9, and then I'll take like a weird nap at some point whenever I'm digesting something / just like over whatever had happened so far in the day and want to just like start anew. And then I wake up and I'll stay usually like, I don't know, until Jake wants to watch something on TV. So probably like
until that old ball and chain starts rattling again.
Yeah, for real. No, that's literally the only thing that takes me away from my grind. A lot of the time, Jake will be like, "You wanna watch Sopranos?" I'll be like, "Yeah, sure."
I can't say none of those blue eyes. You know what I mean? Carly, when you said you quote take a weird nap, I'd like to know what entails the weirdness there. I
feel like reinforced. What's the word? Genetically with my nap taking, because my grandpa. His schedule is very exact, but he's also a nap taker, and he wakes up at 12 p.m. He's retired, obviously. He's a grandpa. He wakes up at 12 p.m.
G-Paws sleep until noon?
If not later. And then,
oh my God.
And then stays up until 4 a.m. every night. He watches all the late night television show, and then he reads physics textbooks until he goes to bed.
Damn, is he single? Because this sounds like wifey.
He's not single, and his lady stays up with him.
The good ones are always taken.
Damn, he's got a ride or die that stays up with him?
Yes.
She's over here playing Overwatch while he's reading physics books.
Oh my God. I tried to call them to wish them a happy Passover at 10 a.m. on tour the other day, and I forgot. I know I should know by now not to call them before like 2. And neither of them were up. Like normally grandparents like want you to call, and like they're down any time of the day.
Grandparents are up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's
they're
the other thing.
Earlier than anyone in the world.
They're the earliest.
So they're, I mean, and they've always been like that.
Yeah, they've always been like that.
So this type of fucked up, I guess, unconventional sleeping is inherently in your DNA.
Yeah, my dad does it too.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you had no choice.
And also, I guess just the Jewish people in general sort of known for their champion napping skills, right?
I have no idea.
It's true. I've seen it.
I didn't know. Is there a Jewish stronghold in North Carolina?
No.
That I'm not aware of? Or are you an outlier?
Well, there's one kind of Jewish weird fact about Greensboro, where I grew up, because there's not a large Jewish population. Like I was one of like 15 Southern Jews at my upstate New York Jewish summer camp. But the fun fact about Greensboro, where I'm from, is this dude, Jewish guy. I think he's Jewish. God, at least I hope he's Jewish, given what I'm about to tell you.
He had better be.
Yeah, I'm 98% sure he's Jewish. He had, for some reason, was like involved in some insurance thing with the planes that crashed in 9/11, and he ended up making money on 9/11, like a lot of money on 9/11. And so to hide the money or to like invest or whatever, he bought like a huge plot of land in Greensboro, North Carolina, and built a Jewish boarding school. And like no one went because it's in Greensboro, North Carolina. But we have this huge Jewish boarding school in Greensboro, even though we have like no Jewish population. It's
so he
weird.
Hid his 9/11 blood money in a Jewish boarding school in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Damn. So he had the financial chutzpah to short steel beams, made a killing on 9/11,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then he's like, I've got the best idea in the world, open a Jewish boarding school in a place where Jewish people are non-existent whatsoever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's closed now. I guess someone's gonna buy the land back off of it or whatever. I don't know how that works.
Well, I mean, this is regardless, this is a great story that I'm sure A24 is going to adopt into a documentary series that I would love to watch a show about that. It sounds like an amazing story.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's true. My dad told me that, so I'm not sure. I never know what
my dad's a known liar, so I don't know how this. I don't know.
Your dad feels trustworthy to me. He wouldn't bullshit me like that, would he?
I don't know. Here's the thing. He's a smart guy, but he loves a good conspiracy theory. So he's very suspicious.
It sounds like you're describing my co-host Jason.
Yeah?
It sounds like you're describing my co-host. Jason's pilled as well from me. He's watching a little too much YouTube, if you know what I'm saying, after he smokes something,
Mr. Hartzman has an open mind. Let's leave it at that.
He does. And he likes a good story. So he'll do his research, but I'm not sure, like, I don't know, cannot confirm or deny, but that's just what I heard through the Hartzman grapevine.
Okay, and as a known lover of storytelling, has he ever come up to your lyrical sketchbook sometime and be like, let me take a look at that. Maybe why don't we move this around here? And I don't love this paragraph. Like, has he ever tried to lend his hand on your songwriting?
No, he tells me stories that make it in there, but he would never.
Oh, so he's an uncredited contributor. You're stealing his words and making them your art for profit?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a.
No, that's Spotify's job, actually.
Hey, that's true. Yeah.
Well, I guess he owes it to you since you're his daughter. I mean, he doesn't have a choice, really. It's kind of an understood transaction.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I mean, because there's so many parents who tell so many stories to their kids and they're just like, shut up. Are you going to tell this story again? You're such a nice, sweet daughter. You're like, I'll do you one better, Pops. Wrote a song about it.
Mm-hmm.
Forever preserving this story. I made it a little better, of course. Added a couple tunes to it, but I think that's really sweet. Yeah, you're continuing the Hartzman family line of stories through the years.
Yeah, I mean, the more I learn about my parents, the more I want to just like log them in the archives, because like I'm realizing that they were people before I was born and had like a life.
This is something that comes with age, Carly. Let me tell you, because you don't that hit me probably like 5 to 8 years ago, and I was having a talk with my mom, and I was like, I've never heard this woman talk like this before, and it wasn't even necessarily the contents of the story or the conversation. It was more like this tone that was kind of like, I've seen and done more than you ever realized, and it was very reassuring, and it was kind of this like understood like adult to adult transaction that had not really happened before in our relationship. You think
you've seen some shit, young man, but let me
honestly,
I've been doing this for a lot longer.
I think it's good to like hold that off until the last possible moment, so you feel like you have parents for a while. But now that I'm like 26, I'm so glad they're able to like level with me in that way.
I would say that your leveling is happening at a pretty early age, because I think it usually doesn't happen until somebody's like late 30s, I would say, when you really feel as if you've lived enough adult life and seen enough shit in the real world to where like, I'm old enough and I'm smart enough to know that like you and me are about the same intelligence level, mommy or daddy. That moment comes a little crazy as well.
I'm definitely smarter than both of them. That's understood. But I mean, they know that too. I think that's kind of a nice thing. That. We don't have to argue about that at home. It's beautiful.
Well, speaking of old stuff, I noticed on your social media that you tell people in your bio, I don't reply to DMs, but here's my P.O. box number and I will reply to your letters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask you why you do that, because it's pretty obvious, and I think it's cool that you do that, but I wouldn't mind hearing some snail mail stories.
Yeah, well, actually, I have one on my desk right now that I need to reply to. I haven't gotten anything too crazy, but this girl like sent me like a scrapbook about why it's like a high school girl, I think, like her person, about like why
wow
she loves my band and stuff.
So she's probably listening to that right now. Do you want to give her a shout out? Or I mean, listening to this right now.
They'll get my shout out via the mail.
She's like, hell no.
No, I think it's so cool. I was like so excited when I got that.
But you're not. See, Jason and I are a little older than you, and our like the earliest experiences I have of music, or at least like music that mattered to me, was all via mail. It was all mail order. I mean, I was sending cash in envelopes and getting 7 inches, back in the mail. So where did you learn this love for the lost art of mail?
God, I don't know. I know I used to send letters to like people that I was intimidated by, just like friends that I wanted to make. Like I remember I was like obsessed with this guy Danny who was in this band, and he was like tangentially friends, but I wanted to like actually get to know him in a way that
take it to the next level.
Yeah, and I couldn't handle it with an actual conversation. So I was like, "You want to be pen pals?" And then now we're like good friends. Because it was just like a slower version of it. Yeah, I don't know, getting to know someone.
No, that's a good way to I haven't thought about that, though, that it is like the way we get to know people now is fucking turbo,
Mm-hmm.
Like I had dinner with a friend last night, a guy named Brooks, who I have talked to once in my life. We have a lot in common. We went and had dinner and are going to be friends, but it's like that should have taken like weeks for that relationship, you know what I mean, for us to get dinner, but it literally happened in like 2 text messages, which isn't really I don't think it's bad or good. It's just the world we live in. Yeah, I'm a hussy.
I'm trying to keep my friend group especially succinct. Is succinct a word for a can you describe people as succinct?
Are you saying you're trying to keep a small circle is what we would say in the hip hop community?
Yeah, so I'm trying to like keep all of my friendships like building at like the slowest possible pace. Letters helps with that for sure, because you literally have to wait like at least a week normally to get the next installment of this person's personality.
Yeah, sound like Succession over here.
You're not gonna FedEx overnight it when you're really feeling like chomping at the bit. Spend $50.
Did you listen to the episode that your BF was on this podcast?
Oh yeah.
In prepper. Okay, good.
Yeah, I love listening to that guy talk.
How do you think he did?
I thought he was great. I think his he talks really. He's in the next room. He talks really slow. So I'm always like, it's so funny to listen, which is hot. He thinks about it. No, I love that about him. But it's always so funny listening to him interview because people are like, so and then he's like, yeah, do. I love listening to that.
Okay, well, you did a good impression of him, and more importantly, you did a good impression of us because we really be talking like that.
Everyone does. Like, I don't know I don't know many slow talkers anymore.
It does feel like a dying art form. I feel like it's very popular in California. Honestly, I feel like in the South and in California are the only places where the art of slow talking is still thriving.
Yeah, we ain't in no rush, brother.
Yeah, we ain't no rush, brother.
Yeah.
I was listening to or to an interview, and you were referencing Veronica Mars, and another songwriter that we had on like a week or two ago also references Veronica Mars in their songwriting. What is the connection? What is the correlation? Why do I need to be paying attention to Veronica Mars all of a sudden? All of a suddenly? I don't know. I was just watching. I watch like shitty TV while I sew because I hand make a lot of our merch.
What?
Yeah.
Hand make merch? What the fuck? How much can you charge for this shit?
I do $50 a pop just because like I want anyone to be able to afford it. But like here, I got one right here. I'm at my desk.
This is so. Hold on, this is insane. So you're saying that you buy like a vintage T-shirt and then you cut out Wednesday and then stitch it onto the shirt.
Well, people just give me all their. I usually don't even buy stuff. People just give me all their clothes that they would donate normally. So it's free 99 for me, and then so that's why I don't mind charging.
Damn, she over here making money two ways. I like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're okay. So that's looking like a $49 profit. Which I mean, obviously we can't put a price on your time, but this seems like as the band grows in popularity, this might kind of cause some problems as far as
price going up,
your bandwidth.
I think I'm taking like kind of a Fugazi route as much as I can, where I'm just like trying to keep it accessible and DIY as possible.
Super cheap $50 T-shirts, keeping it chill.
Well, for something handmade by.
No, I know. Obviously,
no, you're right.
I'm just razzing. No, I think what you're doing is amazing, and and also if you're just gonna be knitting or sewing while you're watching, fucking Sopranos again, because Bay wants to.
Yeah.
Might as well. It's fun. You like doing it, and if you can make a buck, why the hell not?
But yeah, I would watch a lot of Veronica Mars to go back to the original question. And that was just like one of the names of one of the episodes. And I pour over my lyrics a lot. And I was just like, I just want to name my album something fucking stupid. So
I pour over my lyrics a lot. I wanted to name my album something fucking stupid. I like the duality.
Business in the front, party in the back. I like it.
Yeah.
What other programs do you find soothing or can it literally be anything?
I watch a lot of like bad YouTube videos too, just like the hours long recaps of sitcoms. Like I know everything about Home Improvement and Roseanne.
What the fuck? So you're saying you've never watched these shows?
Just like these maniacal deep dives onto these TV shows where like, why would anyone care about this stuff? And you're just like, you're lapping it up like a puppy.
Well, that's the thing. I can't lap anything up that I'm watching or else I'll sew into my finger. So I have to like kind of hate what I'm watching.
You got to be side-eyeing it the whole time.
Yeah, like I can't care enough to look or else I will literally. I've done it before. I've like put the needle like to the bone of my finger.
Oh,
write that down. Good song lyric.
You got to keep Vanderpump Rules off the TV while you're fucking sewing. You got to be careful.
No, this reminds me when I tell people like what podcast to listen to when they're trying to go to sleep. Like it has to be that line between entertaining but not too entertaining and like a boring in a good way.
Yeah.
And if you could reach that perfect spot, then I mean, you're truly zenned out, transcendental meditation style. I recently suffered some nosebleeds for a couple days. You had a lyric about having never-ending nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Girl, I felt that. Walk me through your nosebleed journey.
Well, I actually haven't had one in a while, but the reason the one is so prominent in his song is Jesus, this is like a horrifying story, at least to me.
I'm sorry. You don't have to say it if it's...
No, horrifying, like kind of funny and embarrassing. Okay. I used horrifying a little too lightly. I didn't mean it like that. Heinous? I can say heinous. No, heinous is just as bad. Okay,
yeah, heinous works.
I have a really intense, embarrassing memory of like drunkenly like hooking up with some dude at a party in high school, and my nose started bleeding and it got all over his shirt, and it was just really fucking embarrassing. And then otherwise,
that's stuff that guys jack off to, by the way, right?
Oh Lord. Maybe he still thinks about it then.
Yeah.
A little differently than how I still think about it.
He's like, yeah, heinous. Yeah.
It really sucked. Horrible. It ruined my shirt. Ew.
No, the only other nosebleed that comes to my mind is one I had like on Christmas Eve as a kid, and I woke up and my pillow was covered in blood, and it was Christmas, and I was like, all right, I guess this is Christmas. I don't know. I don't have much. I don't know. It sounds like you have some emotional.
Well, I mean, I used to get nosebleeds a lot when I was a kid from like allergies and stuff, and then I stopped. But there was a couple of days, like 2 weeks ago or so now, where I just kept getting nosebleeds whenever I'd lay down, and I couldn't sleep because of it. Oh, and it became that's horrible. It was traumatic and gnarly and triggering, but I mean, I feel fine now, so it's all good.
I unfortunately didn't believe the severity of his claims. Because he is kind of a pussy. And then I was at his house and I was able to capture his leaking on film. And I posted this photo today as proof for all of our listeners that he, in fact, it's the more blood than I've ever seen come out of someone's nose. Oh, people are asking if I colored the photo. They say it looks like marmalade. There's all kinds of claims coming in because of the sheer amount and thickness of his blood.
Viscosity goals.
Damn. So is this not the first time you have to?
I wonder what that means.
Document it because you've brought it up on the podcast previously.
He claimed he had to reschedule one of our recordings, which did not go over well with me because I'm kind of the CEO, and so he just knew I didn't believe him, so he took his own photographic evidence on his phone, but I was lucky to see it in person. So knowing that because photos can be doctored, you know how it is, Photoshop, all that stuff. And then I was able to capture it on 35 millimeter and then repurpose that as content, which is kind of what we're all doing here anyway.
Yeah, put it in a museum on 35 mil.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. When it's 35
yeah, it was a very
it's
2003 Vice magazine style photo of like.
Yeah.
Guy has a bloody nose. Let's take a Yashica T4 photo of it. My work here is done.
Yeah, it was a Sunday afternoon at like 1 p.m., so it wasn't even cool. There was no like sparks anywhere. There was no cocaine.
It wasn't even nosebleed hours.
Yeah, it wasn't even nosebleed hours. It was literally mid-afternoon brunch hours, kind of, it makes it even more depressing, I think.
That's how they get you. They'll sneak up on you.
It's true.
That's the pre-nosebleed feeling is like probably like one of the. Yeah, I don't envy you.
I've never had one. Can you describe the feeling?
You've never had a nosebleed?
That's really weird.
I've had a little like post big night out.
Chris, let me ask you a follow-up question. How much money have you spent on cocaine in your life? Throw out a number.
Thousands. I would say. I mean. Shit.
18 grand?
Probably close to 20 grand, probably.
Not a nosebleed in sight. 20 grand on coke.
My student loans.
And I was that's my version of student loans. And I was it's not like I was dipping into only the finest Colombian exports. Like I've done some garbage, and I don't even want to talk about the few meth mistakes, but I think that
it all snorts the same.
It feels like some people just have that. You're either wired that way or not. Like both of you guys have had nosebleeds, and they had nothing. They were just kind of like. It seems like it happened out of nowhere.
Our noses don't have the dog in them, whereas yours does.
Exactly. But you know what I've heard? I don't know if you've heard this, Carly, but one of the way that people fix this is soldering their nose.
soldering?
Yeah, I knew a kid that had that done. I think it's like getting your nose. It's like cauterized.
Cauterized, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense than
and it leaves
soldering.
like a soot, like a black ring around your nostrils. Because I remember I was making fun of my friend in middle school for getting his nose cauterized.
Loser.
Yeah.
You
want to prevent nosebleeds? I'm gonna stuff you in a fucking locker.
Yeah.
Way to want to live. I was reading an interview with you, and you're mentioning about how you don't, or you try to not do too much songwriting or lyric writing when you were on tour, which is a time that you spend a lot of your life on nowadays, I'm sure. And the reason being, tour life is sort of traumatic in a lot of ways, and if you're writing songs about those times, you can kind of get burnt out, and it'll make you not want to tour because it's like a perpetual cycle. And also you're creating content that people can't relate to. Most people don't go on tour and know about all that stuff. And it reminded me of when comedians start doing jokes about like private planes and stuff like that, and you're suddenly, not a part of that world anymore. But I just thought that was like a good life lesson in general.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like, I think the big aversion I have to that is for that second reason of just like, who cares about a musician writing? Like, I don't want to hear a lot of songs about touring. I think there's ways to do it that can be cool, but I can't think of any.
So writing a song about being on tour is kind of hacky, one could say.
I guess it's mostly just boring. Like
tour is endlessly boring.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like kind of boring.
Yeah, most of it.
Unless you're taking the
especially the way it works now.
Especially the way it works now. How does it work now for you?
At least this is my assumption. Like, I don't know. Jake and I were watching that Motley Crue movie last night.
Yeah.
And just like all the like insane drugs and shit they were doing. Like, I don't know anyone that would ever really. I don't know if that's like really the rock star thing now. It's mostly just like trying to get through your day for the entire day, and then you play your show.
Yeah.
Like, if I brought drugs into it, like, and then also trying to like do what I do, I would just be like, I'd be dead. I would probably be dead by now.
Yeah. So when you're watching, I guess like if it's a Motley Crue documentary, that's the epitome, the height of like rock star excess lifestyle. Were you watching that saying like, damn, they had it better back in the day. This looks lit as hell. It looks so fun. They just do whatever they want, and somebody else just cleans up their mess for them, and they do whatever they want? Or were you watching that like, this looks like a nightmare, it's stressing me out, I could not live sustainably like this?
It's fun to watch, but except for the part where like people are like overdosing and like destroying their lives.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, there's some hazards to playing the game. I mean, I think touring, I don't know, I just find it to be a little bit like, part of me is like, what's the point if you're not kind of fucking going a little bit crazy? But then I'm also like, oh yeah, this is someone's job, and they have to also perform. Like, you have to like kind of, you have to do it. It was always shocking to me when I would be backstage and see guys just absolutely fucking ripped and then get on stage and nail it. And I'm just like, how do you
Jake can do that.
I'm like, how can you do that? And is it just practice? Is it how your brain is wired? Like, I don't know what the X factor is.
I don't know either. Jake can do it because he's really, really talented, especially at guitar. Like, I couldn't play guitar and be smashed.
No, that's a big part. I mean, being able to play your instrument while you're blacked out is a huge part of it, I think.
Part of the reason I couldn't really do any of that is because we're doing our first tour ever. We've been touring since 2018. We're about to do our first tour ever with a TM, like someone managing the day-to-day stuff. And up until this point, I've had to be in charge of like rallying everyone and driving us to wherever we're staying, and like getting a bunch of like scraggly boys to pack up a van of gear, of heavy gear.
You're the star, and you need to remind these losers of that. And that's what a tour manager is for. And you better thank God for that.
Oh, I'm so excited for the opportunity to like not be like bossing everyone around. I'm looking forward to it.
You deserve it.
I feel like that also
you put in the work.
Will help kind of relations internally, when there's you're kind of all back on somewhat of an equal playing field as far as responsibilities go.
It's like hiring a nanny for yourself.
Yeah, they were always thankful that at the end of the day, I was GDing every night. So it's like they're thankful for the opportunity to party. So it was okay, like morale wise, but it'll just be better for me to not feel like I don't know.
It'll be a little bit tougher to steal money from them, but you'll figure it out.
Lord.
Yeah, you're kind of one for me, one for them. Counting is going to have to change, but otherwise, it's going to be totally fine. It's going to be totally fine.
Lord.
No. We're just kidding. We assume that you're not the type of person to steal money. Don't worry. Whenever we do this podcast with people who are, living a life that we're talking about, we like to ask them their top 3 prescription pills, but I feel like I want to ask you top 3 prescription, top 3 prescription pills country edition, some alternative ways that we're getting high, some non-traditional methods.
Well, okay, y'all actually have to do me a favor on this one because there was an interview recently that my mom saw where I was talking about how I've been really into poppers.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, she wanted me to explain kind of what it was. And I gave a daughter's version. And I was like, it's just a really strong smell. And so if y'all could do me the favor of.
You are not wrong. Do you want me to mansplain poppers to your mom?
Yes, please. Cause she will definitely listen to this. And I just don't think I can get the words out. Like, even though she would she's seen it all. She would know.
All right, Mrs. Hartzman, pull up a chair. I'm going to need to talk to you about something serious about your daughter. About the dangers of poppers. It's more than just a strong smell. No, poppers is literally a strong smell. Amyl nitrate, it's a chemical that not only loosens some muscles in your body, but it gives you a small, short, but enjoyable sense of euphoria. It makes you kind of giggly and relaxed, and it lasts, maybe 8 minutes, and then it's all over, and then you get to go on with your day. If you do too much of it, you'll get a little headache. But nobody has ever taken one whiff of poppers and wanted to go back for more. It's not habit forming in the slightest.
Oh, I think the gay community would disagree, Jason. But go ahead and speak
Chris,
for them.
I'm telling this to her mom.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I got confused. Yeah, no one does more than one a week.
I tried
would say.
it.
Max, one a week at most.
I tried it one time. It was a little weird.
Yeah, I tried it once. It was weird.
Yeah, you feel, mommy, I feel weirdy a little. Yeah, I mean, on the totem pole of we should be worried, poppers are low on there. It's not that big of a deal whatsoever.
The goofiest part of trying to explain that is when I was thinking of the way I was going to describe it and thinking it as I was saying, the first sentence that I said was, it's really popular in the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, and I started saying like, oh, and it smells intense. And then it only lasts like a little bit. And then she circled back. She was like, wait, why is it popular in the gay community? I was like, I think I just said, I don't know.
You know how those guys love to fucking party, Mom. You know those guys love to fucking party. Who knows what it does? Who knows what it does? What does your mom?
Jesus.
What does your mom think of you? Like, what is your mom? Is your mom like a straight laced chick, or is she?
No,
she gets what you're doing.
She's honestly like, she found out I did acid in high school, and I don't know. There was like no consequences in the way that like not in like a way she was being a bad parent, but she like leveled with me and she was like, I did it too.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, good parenting. Like I feel really understood and seen, and I'll probably do it again, but I'll always know if something fucked up happens, I can come to you about it. I don't know. And she's, I actually haven't done any like snortable things or injectable things.
A lady doesn't snort where I'm from.
And I obviously don't want to like share too much about my mom's drug history, but she's done what was anything that was like available and popular when she's
a hip lady. She gets it.
Yeah.
In the right place at the right time, as they would say.
Exactly. So she's just very empathetic. And
it was the summer of love, man.
yeah. Well, I remember I was always really jealous because I was really into John Hughes movies in high school. And she's like, yeah, that's when I was in high school. It was kind of like that. And I was like, bitch, switch with me.
Oh, okay. So this was not the summer of love. Mama was doing cocaine. Got it. Okay.
It was a different summer, but like there was love happening. It was just different, I guess, is how I would say.
You should tell your mom to read the new Bret Easton Ellis novel. I think she would like it. She's right in that zone. We'll send you a link afterwards. Don't worry.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
We'll use our code.
It's a book that takes place from that time frame.
Oh, okay.
Get a kick out of it. Having never met her whatsoever.
So now that you're seeing obviously some success and you're hitting the road, etc., are you trying to bail out and come to one of these beautiful coastal cities that cost 100 times more than where you live, or are you trying to hunker down with the hill people.
You got to check out Austin.
Oh, I've been to Austin. No, I'm not trying to go anywhere. I love where we live. Every time we come back home, I don't know. I'm so glad I see so many places on tour because anytime I even like places like slightly, I'm like, maybe I could see myself here. The second I come back, I'm like, no, this is my spot. I
think it's great.
Mountains. Air smells good.
I like that you're touching grass on a daily basis. But, if things take off, if they're like, we need you in this session, Lana Del Rey wants you kind of top line in this thing, and you got to be in LA. I mean, what do you just hop on the jet, or are you saying that
Lana can come to
you're
me.
going to stay in the South for life? Things take you places.
No, I would go to Lana if Lana asked, but I would definitely. I would ask for my plane ticket to be paid for out of Asheville Airport, Asheville region.
Asheville Regional.
She's like, well, that's not one of my usual hubs, but I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, maybe we can meet each other halfway.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You guys link up in Denver for a weekend, just kind of see what happens.
Reckon.
Yeah, who is there a musical artist, dead or alive, where if they're like, hey, I come out to LA and live with me for a year, or New York and live for a year while we do this, is there somebody who would get you to do that?
Genuinely, no. And I love a lot of music.
I said dead or alive too. Dead or alive.
Yeah, no, for a year.
Yo, Mozart, dead ass Mozart DMs you. You're gonna say no?
No, I mean I love a lot of music.
Damn, if that ain't country, you could kiss my ass.
Mozart sent you a letter in the mail. You left him on red. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Mozart banged your PO box.
Sorry, Mozart. I'm sorry. No, it's just I would freak out. I wouldn't be able to if I was to live in one of those places for a year. I wouldn't be able to make anything because I really just kind of combust or whatever. Like my brain stops working in big cities.
Your body would be there, but your songwriting brain wouldn't be.
Yeah. I don't know. I need so much mental space to work. And I also just am really, I think it's a big thing for artists to collaborate and stuff. I just haven't done that kind of work a lot. It makes me kind of nervous. So the idea of that in the first place is nerve wracking. So just the thought of doing it's just not something that appeals to me yet.
No, that makes sense.
Even if it was Mozart.
I mean, I think that a lot of people don't. I think that it's really commonplace now, and it's something people really know about, where the general public did not used to know about it. So I think now it's there's more pressure on people to do it than there was, years ago.
I mean, Jake also is the kind of musician where people have asked him play guitar and this add your little sprinkles of your music ability or whatever, but I'm not that good of a guitarist. And I have a really specific way of writing. So if they don't want a Wednesday song, it doesn't really make sense.
And I think you probably like it that way.
Oh, yeah.
As it should be.
I mean,
so many people try to do what you're doing and don't have, they spend their whole life or their whole career trying to find that thing, and you already got it. I just want you to do some gratitude exercises around that place. The next time you're touching grass.
Around my talent.
Yeah, just around. Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, not your talent, your ability to know and have, a thing or a process or just a direction that you want to go versus just I love music, I want to make it, but I just can't for some reason or haven't figured out how to.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely am glad that I've kind of figured out who I like. I don't know. I feel 26 is really early to feel I have a really strong sense of self. So it's feels good. I'm grateful.
I know
how bad was your high school band, or did you start late?
She's still in it.
You're we're called Wednesday.
Oh,
new album is in stores now.
Pitchfork seems to like them.
Oh man. I was in a pop punk band early college, freshman year of college. That was the first time I ever played any instrument.
Influences being?
Yeah, what were you listening? What kind of pop punk are we talking about? I'm an expert.
I actually didn't love pop punk. I just wanted to be in a band really bad, and that's the only kind of music that was happening in Greensboro, North Carolina. So I begged my friends to let me in their band. They really liked, what were they into? Third Eye Blind. Which I like Third Eye Blind.
Hold on, you're classifying Third Eye Blind as pop punk? We've changed.
No, I'm not. But that's one of the things they were into.
It's kind of pop punk, you gotta say. It's not. If Blink-182 is pop punk, let's call Blink-182 punk pop, and Third Eye Blind is pop punk.
I disagree, but I also, Carly, I've had a tough weekend because I was attacked by Linkin Park fans for something I said on Twitter.
Oh no.
That they are not like. There's this new thing where bands like that are considered emo, and I'm like, that's just like new metal, and they're bad. And I'm still getting attacked by Linkin Park.
Yeah, maybe as a young person, could you weigh in on your thoughts on that, please?
Yeah, please.
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like the only experience I had with Linkin Park was like listening to radio rock on the way to softball practice in like middle school.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my exact point. That's the exact point. It's like that's what it is.
Radio rock.
That's what it is. And there's like this whole kind of there's like this new way of thinking that all of that stuff was actually like underground. And I'm like, guys, this was specifically made for the radio. But I was explaining to Jason that I think sometimes when music isn't tied to a scene, it's tough for me to find it like authentic. When it's just like some guys that play at a bar 5 times and then get a record deal, it's tough for me to think of that as like something authentic.
Like Third Eye Blind.
No, they toiled in the underground for years. He rapped, you know that. She knows that.
Did he have a rap name? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Stephen Jenkins was a rapper. There's some YouTube videos. If you, I can't remember his name or anything, but he was you can tell in Third Eye Blind songs he kind of like scats sometimes.
But that sort of makes my point that he was not a member of a scene. But let's move on from Third Eye Blind.
Oh Lord.
I don't want to take up so much space for him.
When does
I actually, you know what? I have a question. Chris is going to ask a dumb one anyways. Like, what cities are you going to on your tour?
No. I know what cities they're going to.
Chris knows. He has them printed out on his fridge.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
We were talking last episode. We didn't get to it, but there was an article in the New Yorker, and it was titled "How to Be a Mysterious Woman Who's in Bed by 9:30," and the article did not really tell you how to do that. It just told you how to cope with your social anxiety. But I feel like you are probably a mysterious woman who, when they're not on tour, is metaphorically in bed by 9:30. What do you think?
I don't know, because I still don't really understand what the article was about. If it's not about being a mysterious, what does it mean to be a mysterious lady?
I think it's kind of like saying that you're actually boring, you know, but you want to seem mysterious because you're not. Like Jason, you're saying that like being out at night makes you mysterious. Is that kind of what? Yeah,
like how to go to your friend's housewarming party and then like excuse yourself to go home and watch Friends on repeat for the 7,000th time. And still look cool and not pathetic, kind of thing. Which I felt was not a healthy thing that we should be teaching people. But I feel like you are a mysterious woman in some way.
That does sound like me in the sense that I do leave things early if I go at all. I actually don't go out. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to get me out of the house when I'm home just because tour is like the most social shit in the world and I'm an introvert. So it's like, when I'm home, I'm like big home, like
massive home energy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the point that I was trying to make is like you are probably like that. Whereas like, hey, I'm gonna go by my friend's house for their birthday because I care about them and I like them a lot, but I'm not gonna stay out until 3 a.m. doing fucking tequila shots. But you're also not gonna like ghost them or make up some weird excuse. You're gonna talk to them like a human being and say like, hey, I'm gonna leave now because of XYZ. And your friends are going to respect you for that. And it's not going to be a weird thing where you have to like clandestinely exit a baby shower.
I feel like I don't know anyone who really is like going out of their way to be weird about leaving something in my friend group, I guess. But the cool part is
that's good.
We live next door to like some of our best friends. And they'll have like stuff all the time. So it's literally, if I go home to be a mysterious woman, it's like a 15-second walk to my house. So it's like
I can go barefoot to be mysterious and it takes the commute is really short.
Yeah. So, and I don't really need to leave the like property that much to like go
I forgot you guys were doing your like commune light living.
Yeah. I mean, it's our neighbor Colin grew up in the house that he's in next door to us, and our landlord Gary is next to that. He's like this 80-year-old dude who's like he died last year. Old guy though, it's okay.
He's so old that he died. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know how you come back from that.
Fellas, that ever happened to you?
Fellas, you ever gotten so old that you died?
It happened. If it happened to him, it can happen to any of us. He got so old. But yeah, so he was our landlord / buddy, and then he just rents these houses to Colin, our neighbor, and the rest of us for like super cheap. And actually the land's about to be like sold, which really sucks because obviously there's no landlord anymore. So we gotta figure that out. I don't know where we're gonna go.
You guys were. I think he was talking about maybe you guys would be able to scrape up enough dough to buy it. Is that still on the table?
I don't know.
You're like, I got enough dough scraped up. I don't know about these fucking guys.
Well, these guys, I don't fucking know, bro. I couldn't tell you about these guys.
That's the weird thing about putting out a record, though, even one that's doing really well. Like, I have no idea when we'll start making money because we owe a bit.
Right.
Because they advance you some, and then I also have like $20,000 of student loans.
Oh, you won't be making money from the album, sweetheart. We're talking about merch sales, live shows, stuff like that.
We gotta start. Yeah, we gotta get a whole harem sewing if you want to make any money. It ain't gonna be from Spotify. You know that.
My bandmates are joking about that all the time.
They joke about sweatshop labor.
They think it's funny. They think it's funny. I don't.
But if you need a good sweatshop guy, just let me know.
Cool.
I will say, listening to your record, you have a little bit of a lo-fi kind of relaxed country flavor to you, but the album sounds very professionally done, and I think there's a good kind of mixture of that. I mean, kind of hearkening back to the Motley Crue days where people around you are like, we got to make sure this shit sounds fucking pro because we care about it that much, and it can't just be some like lo-fi 4-track shit. Like, it's powerful enough that we got to drop some money on it, and I think it's cool to hear that because you don't really hear it that much anymore because there's no money to dump into stuff like this anymore. Yeah.
Like this was definitely the first album with an advance. Like I think we got a $500 advance for the last record.
so gas money.
Yeah, essentially that label was one guy, and this label is like 40.
I love that.
Something.
I love that $500. I love $500. That that Jason, that gets you to the studio, but you can't record once you get there.
And you know that he wishes it was 500,000. It wasn't because he was being cheap. It was just all he had.
No, it's true, and we were really excited about that actually too. Like that was because we were funding everything. I mean, I think the rest of the funding was from what's it called? What they were giving out during COVID. The stipends.
Oh, really? PPP loan.
Yeah, I used like all of mine on recording.
I like that. You're just like all the rappers. You're just scamming PPP to get some studio time. I like that.
No, but she actually spent the money on making music though.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I see. No Hellcats.
She didn't buy Balenciaga
what's
shoes.
The scam it? How do you scam it with it?
Well, there's a lot of the scam was, I think, that a lot of people opened, like basically you would open LLCs and then get giant loans from the government, and kind of the idea was you were never gonna have to pay it back.
Gotcha.
Which I think is kind of true. But that was the most common scam, I believe. But it sounds like everything you did is above board.
Or people would just take the loan out and just spend it on cars and clothes and bullshit.
I got like some designer shoes for the first time during COVID just because I was like, this is the only time I've ever had money. So
okay, walk us through this purchase.
I'm actually looking at them right now because I got to take them to the cobbler. I got 1991, I think. Here, I'll show them. Miu Miu boots. These like really weird looking.
Yes.
Yeah, I was really into that during COVID. I haven't like really gotten back into like some of the.
There's a real ship down there to the bayou?
I reckon so. Yeah, the bayou is. They send it to the bayou and then they send it to me because the bayou is far from me.
I just love that we're just from two opposite ends of the world. And our lives are so connected by online shopping and fashion, and like you just held up a very cool boot that if I saw somebody in Echo Park wearing, I'd be like, damn, that's sick. You're pulling it off. Go off, queen.
God, I never wear them around here though.
I was gonna ask, where do you wear these? Because I feel they might get stuck in the mud and stuff. So
genuinely, yes. I wore them to the shoot for the album cover. And you can't see them. And then,
I wear Miu Miu for a feeling, not because of the whale.
Yeah, it's how it makes you feel.
Yeah, well, I bought them during COVID, so I literally wasn't leaving the house. I bought them just to like feel good in my house. Yeah. But I don't know. I hopefully we'll have more because I can't bring them on tour right now because we don't have a situation where like we're just in a Econoline van, so everything's like getting smushed and stacked. I look like shit on tour right now because I can't dress. I have to bring like a suitcase of smashed t-shirts and athletic shorts around.
You sound like me
one day when
that's what I
closets,
prefer is smashed t-shirts and athletic shorts. But I understand that.
No, Carly
It
needs
works.
a couple steamer trunk road cases, assistant ironing board.
I can't wait till
pulling out looks for you backstage.
We walk into the backstage and you've got the wardrobe cases open with somebody steaming kind of your look 3 for tonight.
I would love to at least like indulge in that kind of thing once, but I actually am more comfortable in like a normal tour clothing that I wear now. But I don't know. I am interested in fashion, so it's just like a fun opportunity. Like you can dress crazy on stage. It's like the only time I'll be able to do it. Really.
Good point.
I say this all the time. Nothing gives you more power to dress however you feel than a stage. Mm-hmm. There's clothes that are made for it, but there's also like I just think that I see people attempting things like that in the street and it's not successful. You put them on a stage, all of a sudden it fucking works. It's a totally different ballgame.
Right? Yeah. No, it's just like it would be a waste of an opportunity if I didn't at least try to like go crazy.
Are the fellas dressing, or do they not give a shit, or do they even care more than you?
No, they don't care. Which is like I think Zandy, my favorite Zandy clothing item is this new one he's been wearing. That's our lap steel player. He has this t-shirt. We're all really into t-shirts.
Big T-band.
Yeah, boy. It's like a t-shirt with a pig on it and it says sweat hog.
Damn, that is pretty cool.
I feel like I've seen this before.
I would love to know what it is. I have no idea what it is, but
the sentence you just said is our lap steel player Zandy wears a t-shirt that says sweat hog. I just want to kind of clear that, make sure we understand where we're coming from.
Hopefully Sweat Hog is his DJ pseudonym.
And he often DJs in the car. We all do, but
DJ Sweat Hog when he's
on the aux.
It's over for you hosts.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sleep while Sweat Hog's on the ones and twos, it ain't gonna be.
Forget about it
for you. It ain't good for you.
He doesn't not take you on a journey.
Genuinely, I was trying to sleep in the van on the way back from New York. We drove from New York to Asheville like 2 days ago, and I had finally fallen asleep. And Zandy got on the aux. Didn't look in the rear view to check if my peepers were shut, and blasted some fucking I don't even know what it was, some sort of death metal, but not even good death metal, just like something that is made to wake a sleeping gal.
Just some bullshit fake Cannibal Corpse ass band, only designed to wake you up. The kind of thing that you would play when you have a Taliban member in a torture cell and you're trying to break them.
Exactly. This is when you're in solitary.
That's what you hear when you're holding down in Waco, Texas.
I don't understand listening to music like that when driving, even if the drive is long. I feel like how do 8 people deal with that? Or do you just have to let the driver do his thing?
Sometimes we're all really in the mood for that kind of thing. Actually, it can be really fun, especially if there's just a chaotic restlessness. It's really good at getting out restlessness to listen to just the most, I'll say it again, heinous shit.
Just some absolutely heinous tunes. Well, who is your go-to death metal heinous band, or do you have one?
Oh God, we really like this Nails album. What is it called?
Nails, yeah.
That's a really fun one. I mean, we threw on the latest Gex album at one point when we were feeling pretty heinous.
When you just want to rage.
Yeah, that was good for getting out some. There was a drive recently where we got into our most horrifying guilty pleasure, to bring it up again, pop punk music. I'm trying to even think of some of the it was the Hot Topic bands, just pulling up some of that from the dregs. That was pretty
right, the Used or something.
Yeah,
just some real nasty ass shit.
Yeah, middle school Hot Topic music.
I like the idea though of people being forced to reveal what they like because they can't help. You put something on and they're trying not to sing along or act like they know it, but they're just fuck it, I love the Used.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
No, it's fun. It's I would never show that part of how much of that music I was aware of with any other crew of people. It's fun with that.
It can be a very bonding experience to do that.
It was.
Where you're I'll change it. This song's stupid unless you guys are okay with it.
Unless.
Yeah. This song's really bad. It's kind of annoying, right? You want me to turn it off?
Oh my gosh.
All right, Carly. Well, thank you for taking the time to pod with us. We are both fans, and the new record is really, really special. And congratulations, well done making it. And we hope you have a fun time on tour.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks, Carly. We'll talk to you soon. Have fun out there.
Thank you. Later.
Later.
Bye.